Either today in this video, I would like to explain you how to build up a saving button for your open layers drawing features. I have the open layers map in front of mine, and I have prepared some drawing kit, which you can see here. It contains several options to draw, and also it includes the button which enables to save all these features as the GeoJSON format, which is one of the GIS format. You can next convert them to another GIS format or open it in QGIS. So let me do some short demonstration. I'll draw a polygon for you. I obviously defined some other options. If I draw some rectangle, let me draw the star and so on. Okay, and now once I click the GeoJSON button, I can save my layer as the separate GeoJSON layer. Looks great. And now you can see that the layer has been saved in my folder. So the further steps might be opening this layer in QGIS. So it looks pretty cool. And today I want you to read step by step how to prepare the saving button for your drawing features in the OpenLayers library. The drawing features are quite popular, and I believe that exporting them to some arbitrary GIS format can be desirable option. So let's get busy then. So our starting format will look pretty much as this. We have pure OpenLayers map with the OpenStreetMap canvas, and also we have this drawing kit presented before with these several options. So let's have a look on the front end side. So the map has been exported directly from QGIS via the QGIS web plugin. And here is the drawing kit which I built up before. So here are all the elements presented in the dropdown. So let's scroll across all of them down to the end. We've got star, we've got the cross, and this is the last one. We also have the option for delete features. And here I would like to demonstrate how to build up the save button. So this exercise has been undertaken by myself just recently, where I've described all the steps to save the OpenLayers drawings as the GeoJSON file. However, some things changed. I mean, I would like to add up some options. So that's why this video is for. And for the sake of clarification, this video is for people who are in the entry level of coding and want to build something up from the scratch. So basically, the whole process will play between these two examples, which I found in the web, and I will show you how to merge both of them in order to get the desired result. Our very first approach should be attaching the jQuery link to our index.html file. Difficult to have the most up-to-date version, but if you will have a bit older, that still should work. And our next step will cover the section which is presented roughly on this website. I mean the GeoJSON export, which is jQuery based. As you can see, uh, we also need to share the separate button with the export button ID, and that will create a function which will cover our JSON format, and the output will be seen in our console. So let's do it then. First of all, if the jQuery has been attached, let's uh, insert the button. So we need to type button type button as per shown in the example. Let's call it GeoJSON and let save it. Now, if we back to our map, then we see that the button is underneath. So what we can do, we need to fiddle with the CSS code a little bit. Define this class, our CSS section. So we just simply copy all the features from our draw section, and once we save, we can see that the button is almost in the correct place. But what we need to do here, we can push it a bit towards right, adding up additional pixels here. Now, if I press save, the button should be in the correct position. That's fantastic. We don't need any more, frankly. And now we can back to our code. Where we just add the section presented on that website. So as you can see again, jQuery picks up our button class, and once you click on it, the JSON stuff should be populated in our console. So save it and give it a go. Now nothing happens really because we haven't drawn anything. Okay, so at this moment, if I start to draw something, I should see my JSON stuff populated in the console. So let me draw some example of the shape. Okay, and let me save it as a GeoJSON. Oh, what happens? I've got an error. Vector is not defined. What does it mean? It means that I have forgotten something really important here. Namely, in the code I have copied from the website I told you before, I haven't changed the variable here. It's not the vector because we don't have variable called vector. We've got vector layer. The vector layer is the one which should be included here instead of vector. You can see it everywhere. Everything assigned our drawing filters, our source is vector layer. So we have to change vector layer. So the best way to do it without any additional hassle is to copy it from anywhere where it appears and just save our file. Okay. Thereafter, we can back to our map and start drawing again. So if I draw polygon as I did before, place it on the map. Next, by pressing the GeoJSON button, I can see all the features populated here, which is great. Let me draw a few other features. Ellipse, rectangle, maybe circle. Okay, I think it's enough. Now if I press the GeoJSON button again, I've got the information from all the elements which have been drawn on the map. Obviously, the very first element is already selected, so this is the polygon I draw at the very beginning. And consecutively, you can see the details of elements which have been populated next. So here is the ellipse, here's the point, and this is the circle and rectangle at the very end. Okay, but it's still not enough. I want this data to have downloaded physically as a file, okay? So it's another step, very important one, which we need to do here. And this is where I'm heading right now. Do you remember I told you previously that the another step has been explained roughly here? We've got the second part of our tutorial, namely we've got the piece which will be responsible for getting our JSON structures as a file, yeah? So the code is already presented here. And now we have to do the relevant modifications of our code in order to make it working. So we have to back to our Visual Studio Code file, the QGIS to web JS1, and see what can we do here. So in our export GeoJSON section, we've got the jQuery function defined within these curly brackets. So we can simply add this code from Stack Overflow straight to this function, right? Simply we will add another function within the existing one, and this will work as the another piece of our function, where the first one will be responsible for displaying the GeoJSON data in our console, and the second one will do the rest. Namely, it will download it as a file to our drive. However, as you can see here, the output file is going to be the txt extension, and its name as a default is JSON. This is the text plain format, which is characteristical for the txt extension. But As far as you know the Notepad application, it allows you to save the text under various file extensions. So it's not a problem to change this application at this stage and put GeoJSON instead of TXT. Here we can put name as we want. Let it be drawing.geojson and save it. Now we can back to our map and give it a go again. In our map, now if I draw some shape, do as previously. Let me draw maybe more than one. And the last one, some line string preferably. Fine. Now when I click the GeoJSON, I see the data is already populated here, but I've got an error that the GeoJSON data is not defined. So it seems that I have forgotten another important thing, which I'm going to explain you about right now. The reason of our error is trivial because we need to look what are we downloading. Is it JSON data or is it something different? We have defined the variable called JSON, right? So we have to include this variable here. Instead of JSON data, it must be JSON. So the character of our error is exactly the same as it was previously. Now, when we save it, we can back to our map and everything should work fine. Another approach to our map then, when I draw the polygon, preferably another shape. Finally press the GeoJSON button. Everything is perfect. As you can see, the file has been downloaded. You can open the file. You can load it to QGIS or another GIS software. That's excellent. But I think still one thing is missing here. Because, as you may have noticed, the file is saved under one constant name, drawing GeoJSON, right? But how about if we could implement the custom name option? It would be definitely beneficial for us. So let's have a look. What can we do with this? If we would like to trigger an option with the custom file name saving, we should define the new variable here, which can be like this, file title, and it will work with the prompt property, which will ask us first what name can we define for our file. Okay, so we can launch the alert like this, but in the case if we won't decide about our name, the file will be saved under some default name, like drawing dash GeoJSON, okay? So the variable has been defined. So our very last step is to include this variable in our download section. In this case, we don't need this stuff anymore. We don't need the drawing.geojson anymore because it will be replaced with the file title, which is our variable, plus what.geojson. Is it clear for you? We have defined the variable where we are prompting by alert to providing our own name, and the file is downloaded with the name of our variable, which since now should be custom. Okay, the name should be flexible. So let's see how it works then. Make sure that your JS file in Visual Studio Code has been saved. If so, you should see your map refreshed. So let's move on. Let's draw, for example, circle. Let's draw, for example, rectangle. And finally, let it save. And do you see? Everything works perfectly. We've got our default name provided in our box, which is drawing GeoJSON, but you can change this name. The test layer, yeah? If you press OK, the file has been downloaded under the name you defined. It's not the constant fixed name anymore. This is the name which you defined. So we've done a great job. Thank you for bearing with me. I hope that you've learned something with this video. So as a reward, I would like to show you this layer now in QGIS. So I've got the blank QGIS map open in front of mine. And this is the moment when I can add my layer. I can do it both by layer, add vector layer. But I think a quicker option will be to drag my file from the directory straight to QGIS, like you can see right now. And there you go. My layers are populated in QGIS. So this is the best proof how the OpenLayers drawing kit works with an export option to the GeoJSON format, which can be next transferred to another GIS format, whichever we want. So thank you for your attention today. I hope that this tutorial will be useful for you, and see you in the next video.